Okay, welcome, and thank you for joining us for the Conscious Leader Circle, where we meet every month to get grounded, energized, and focused so we can navigate through these epic times, the middle of the paradigm shift that we're in. I always mention that we're going from December 21st, 2012, which is one of the milestones of big transformation on the planet, to 2100, when the North Star aligns with the North Pole, heralding in the new age, the true age of light for the next 13,500 years. And so as brave souls who decided to come to the planet at this time need all the help we can get, right? To keep us at our best. And that's what we do once a month, to support each other and learn from each other. And today we have an amazing special guest, our good friend, Richard Geer, who has over 40 years experience as a free will astrologer. And he's going to help us stay centered, connected, and conscious through 2022 with his amazing astrological forecast. And then we're going to choose a lucky winner of the live mini reading that Richard is going to provide for someone for 2022. And I understand Richard has some other holiday bonuses for everybody that's joined us today. Richard?
Yeah, I'll go over that quickly. Yeah, so my usual price is $125, but if anyone orders 2 readings, then the second one is half price. And there's also a mini reading for a Christmas gift that I often do, and that's $45. And anyone who orders out of this meeting, 15% off. Okay.
By December 31st.
By December 31st. And I should give, I think the easiest email to remember is yumplanet@yahoo.com.
Can you put that in the chats, Richard, for us?
Yeah, let's put that in the chat.
So again, anybody who has a chance to have a reading with Richard, it's really life-changing. He's been my spiritual guide on the earth, a spirit guide on the earth for 25 years. And it's more than an astrological reading. It's just an incredible experience of channeling and support, as he mentioned, free will astrologer. So never telling you what to do, but empowering you to connect with your essence and your soul. So I encourage everyone to experience one-on-one the magic of Richard Geer. And we're very, very grateful, Richard, that you're here with us today. So when would we like to announce the winner of the mini reading? Are we going to do it now, or I'll leave everybody in suspense till after you've done your 20?
Yeah, why not? I do the talk in general, and will you monitor me so I can end at any time, right? And then so we'll have time for the mini readings so people can see how I work, and that person can receive, a little take on their. I call it, I'm a mirror to your inner genius, is what I do. My job is not to tell you anything, is to trigger your higher knowing so that you own it, and it's never about agreeing or anything. It's just like, I just sort of deliver something and your reaction is what you get.
Awesome.
Essentially.
Awesome. Okay. So we've been through a lot the last couple of years as a collective. And now we're going to do our best to make sure 2022, wow, that's like 3 2s in there. They must have some meaning.
Yeah, it's the only time you get that until the 23rd century.
Well, there you go. Just a minor thing. And we want to make 2022 our absolute best year ever. So we want to, as I always say, my favorite mantra is, I live my highest quality life in any circumstance. In any circumstance, in any condition, I'm going to make the best of it, no matter what anyone else says. So that's what we're going to be doing in 2022. And Richard, I'll hand it over to you for the 2022 forecast.
Excellent. Yeah, I was going over all the things that are happening, right now and in the year to come, and going, okay, which would be most valuable to everyone in a few minutes to deliver. And I sort of dug deeper, and I said there were 2 main things I think that really dominate this coming year that I want to get into. First, I want to provide a little bit of context. in the big picture of things, we have what's called the ages, each one of which is over 2,000 years long. And so we're finishing up the age of Pisces, where the lesson was, and still is, universal compassion, the idea of oneness, the idea that everybody matters, the idea that even a convicted murderer is still a human being, the idea of how to get over yourself and see your place in the larger world, the idea of forgiveness. The Catholic Church had confession from, almost 2,000 years, the idea of how to return to the love of all and the support of all and get over your own ego and feel the oneness of it all. That's divine love, the last 2,000 years. The next 2,000 years, 2,160, which I believe begins in 2050. So from 110 BC to then the next age, they go backwards, the age of Aquarius. And that's about divine intelligence. It's about being the inventor of life. It's about being the incarnation of the genius of the creator. As I put it, the creator created us to create. And that's, and so, the ruler of the age of Aquarius, Uranus, was discovered in 1781, right in the middle of the American and then the French revolutions. And the idea that no one has a right to have sovereignty over us. Each of us is sovereign. How do we create a global community where we belong to each other, we connect to each other, we cooperate with each other, but we answer to our own conscience, not to some boss, some religion, some whatever. And so that is a liberation of the human mind, whereas the previous was the liberation of the human heart. And of course, we got some good lessons about both, but we've been trying for 2,000 years to learn that particular lesson. And so this, in many ways, to me, is the most powerful time in the whole 26,000 year cycle, is right now, the cusp of these two ages, because they're both ruled by outer planets, Uranus and Neptune. What I call the three superpowers. There's higher intelligence, Uranus. There's higher love, unlimited love, Neptune. And then there's the higher power behind everything, what some people call the Tao, and we can tap into that power, that genius, and that love, joy, bliss at any time. And there are infinite ways to do it. And everything works from that level. I've got miracle stories up the wazoo about what happened in even the craziest of circumstances when, boom, I tapped into it and then everything turned out. And I was able to give these gifts to the world. And so the reason I'm bringing this up now is that what's been going on this past year and this coming year all ties in with that. And I remember, again, I wrote an article for Home Times magazine, the beginning of 2020, saying this is going to be one of the most momentous years in history. I had no idea. And now, the last year and this year, we have this long aspect between two planets, the planet of freedom and creativity, Uranus, and the planet of responsibility and caution, and on another level, fear, Saturn. And so how do we reconcile the need for security and the need for freedom, the need for being responsible to others, and the need to create in your own way, not dominated by others? And a lot of these, without getting into the specifics of it, because that's forbidden here, a lot of what's going on in the headlines is this dance between freedom and responsibility, with a lot of finger pointing both ways, because it's meant to be reconciled. And oddly enough, the planet of freedom, Uranus, and the planet of responsibility, Saturn, are the co-rulers of Aquarius. And so these couple of years are vital to where we're going. Now I'm going to make it personal to you in a minute, okay? And so that's going on in our collective movie. Now, in our individual movie, there's an incredible opportunity being offered by this rare fusion of these two planets. And it has to do with, the way I put it, is to know what your creative self wants to do. It's something that is not already here, or it wouldn't be creative. In the tarot, which is in the major arcana of the tarot, there's 22 steps in how to bring a divine idea to earth, how to receive from your genius, which is the genius, how to receive, Noah, build me an ark, what is your assignment? And you'll know, because your higher intelligence goes, yeah, I can get behind that. And it's not about satisfying your ego, it's your assignment, what my teacher calls the desireless desire. The desire that isn't about what can I get, It's about what can I give, but another way, it's how do I get out of the way of the infinite brilliance that is trying to work through me to give itself to the world. Oh, I like that. How do I allow the infinite brilliance to give its gift through me to the world? And the promise is from the great masters. You'll find it in the New Testament, you'll find it everywhere. How can I put it? It's that if I will do that, both the inner spiritual fulfillment and the outer material well-being will both fall into place. You can meditate thousands and thousands and pray thousands of hours and never attain that consistent fusion with that joy within. Because once we go inside, we then get an assignment that takes us back to the world, but totally reborn, totally generous, because we are being given to, and the love pours through us to the world, the genius pours through us to the world, the alignment with power, the one power that is inside everybody, that one power comes through us to the world. I'm hearing the Grateful Dead. You who choose to lead must follow. You know, by following that genius, we become leaders. And that's what Aquarius is about. Where instead of a conflict of ideologies or a conflict of wills, we just put something out there and take what we get. No matter what we get back, if it's pure, then we're karma free and it all works out, even when it's challenging. You know, Rosa Parks couldn't get a job as a seamstress after she refused to give up her seat on the bus, so she had to move to Detroit. You know, so what? That's where destiny takes you. You know, 1 minute she's getting arrested, 50 years later, the president and the first lady are, I'm going to cry, are at her casket, you know, in the Capitol building, honoring her. And so you can't tell what you're going to get back, but you can tell how pure and how real and how honorable, how loving, how honest, how generous that thing that comes through you is. And so to learn to be the creator, and the first step is the fool stepping off the cliff. You don't know where this is going to lead. You know, as I've said, the title for my autobiography will be "Here Goes Nothing." You know, it's like you step out. You know, and I remember Jesus saying that when you follow that inner guidance, you become unpredictable like the wind. You know, even you don't know what you're going to do next because you're in tune with that infinite intelligence that knows better than you do. And that's part of what the Age of Aquarius is about. And that's why it's been the age of invention. The 18th century, when Uranus was discovered, we had the Enlightenment, you know, people waking up to get free of traditional concepts, you know, and began to find what the truth is. You had the explosion of science, the technology and invention. And then you had the manifesting of democracies on the earth and the idea that everyone has rights. And those rights are not to be surrendered to any leader, you know? And so all of that was coming in as a presage, you know, a prelude to the Age of Aquarius. And now over 200 years later, it's coming to a culmination. So the dance, Uranus gives you the idea, and there's 22 steps, and then it winds up with Saturn, the other planet I'm talking about, where you land it, you know, as Padraig Pearse, who helped get Ireland free after 750 years of slavery, he said, you know, what if the dream come true? No, the wise men have pitied the fool that has striven to give a life in the world of time and space among the bulk of actual things to a dream that was dreamed in the heart and that only the heart could hold. Oh, wise men, riddle me this. What if the dream come true? I'm going to cry again. What if the dream come true, and if millions unborn shall dwell in the world that I shaped in my heart, in the noble house of my thought? And so to receive a divine idea, to go through all the transformations that it takes you through, and believe me, it will, and go through all the initiations till finally you deliver it to the world like a baby. Saturn rules the last card, the world, where the inner world and the outer world are both there on earth, as it is in heaven. And heaven is your own heart. Heaven is your own genius. Heaven is that beauty inside you. How to bring that beauty fully to the world. And the promise is, if you simply invest in that with all your human weaknesses, the universe will totally support you because that higher intelligence is you. It's in you as you. Again, the creator created us to create. And so to be co-creators and co-inventors with the infinite inventor is what the Age of Aquarius is about. But the thing is, Aquarius rules the ankles. And the ankles to me represent two things. And Aquarius is the water bearer, which in the era before Wells, the water bearer, he was it. She was it. They kept the whole community alive. And so even though one side of Aquarius is all about individualism, the other side is about this spontaneous responsibility to the larger community, but on your terms. I decide what my responsibility is. I, through my connection, decide what my gift is. And so Saturn says responsibility, and Uranus says invention and freedom. Well, where do they come together? So one side of the ankle is about support. It keeps you up. That's the Saturn, the practical side, responsible side. But the other side of the ankle is pivot, like a ballet or figure skating or basketball. Pivot is the ability to take a totally different turn. And so invention is the ability to take a totally different turn. All of a sudden, and that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. All of a sudden, somebody brings something new. You're two of you are hanging out in the garage and you've mortgaged to the hilt and you're begging, and your credit cards are maxed out, but you got this $1 billion idea of something you want to bring to the world. And that willingness to put it all on the line, and you don't have to be that edgy about it, but to put your whole life on the line for that creator inside us that wants to bring something new. And so this year, what I see it for each of us individually, I just gave you the big picture, right? For each of us individually, it's about, first of all, prioritize listening, inside. What is my genius saying? What is that which is eternally new saying? Well, and then prioritize giving time to it the way you would schedule having a job, and the job is find your spirit, follow your spirit. But to prioritize, it's like going to church, prioritize it and say, I'm co-creating a project on the use of astrology as both in health, as both a diagnostic and a healing. And so, this person I've allied with in naturopathy, she said, okay, we will call each other 2 p.m. every Monday. And I'm like, yeah, I got an organized person to play with. Wonderful. That's how things happen, and Lydia's a perfect example of that, right? You have your vision, you organize your life around the vision, and you take care of everything else you got to take care of, pay the bills or whatever, and you allow that little hole in your life that belongs to your genius. And a writer might sit down, with one example of a creative person, might sit down, they might spend an hour and nothing comes through, but they pondered it. At least they hung with it. And all of a sudden they wake up in the middle of the night with an idea. That happened to me with a client recently. I finished, it's for the mother of someone's child. The guy was my client. It was a gift to the mother. And I did the reading. And then days later, in the middle of the night, I wake up and I go, you know what? There's something you need to tell him that you don't tell her. And I told him, he said, oh God, that's totally right. Thank you so much. I'm deciding whether to go into business, whether blah, blah, blah. It just comes because I was focused. The job was done. I got paid. It's over. Except it's not over. If spirit talks, it's never over. It's just beginning. And so the ability to just give a little bit of room for that genius to be prioritized. So it's that combination of being organized and being free. Organize your freedom and you can run your life. Ooh, I like that one. And so there was something else I was going to say about all that. Directing your life, being ankles, supporting Age of Aquarius, what's coming in. So this is a beautiful opportunity, but the key to me in astrology, my whole take on astrology and health is we have all these different voices inside us, right? We have the rational voice, we have the emotional voice, got the practical voice, got the compassionate voice, the spiritual voice, got the creative voice, and they all want to get along. And when they all get along, you're healthy. When no one gets neglected, none of the different sides of your nature gets neglected, they all get honored and engaged in your life, you're healthy, And so if we have like 11 planets inside, if we count the sun and the moon, And that means there's 55 pairs. And so if all the pairs get along, if there's 50, so if all the pairs work, then you work, then you are whole, you know. And sometimes one planet is stronger than another, and that other planet gets neglected. Maybe responsibility is stronger than freedom, and you forget to create your life. Maybe creativity is more stronger than responsibility, and you're an eccentric mess who can't get it together. Brilliant, but can't get it together. You know, how do we cultivate all of these eases, as I call them, the absence of which are the dis-eases? You know, the ancient Greeks felt that disease came when you offended a god. Well, these gods are inside us as us. And each of them has a beautiful gift. Venus will give you beauty and love. Venus will make you charismatic. Mercury will make you clear in your mind. You know, you don't make stupid mistakes, etc. They all want to give us something. Sun will give you full self-expression. The moon will give you soulful depth, and and so how do we allow ourselves to receive all these gifts? And so the culmination of almost 50 years as an astrologer, doing these one-shot and occasional updates for people, fine, good. And how do I support, like, maybe millions? How do I support people long-term in fully living all the sides of their nature? And the sum is way more than the parts. It's like a giant band, of all of these different planets all want to play together the same song. And that song is you and your destiny. And I know what I forgot to share. Out of nowhere recently, I wrote a sonnet of all things. Speaking organized, the sonnet is very tight. It's 5 beats per line. Every line has to rhyme. It's, we don't do much of those anymore. Free verse, is the name of the game, or song. So it's short. It's a sonnet. I want to share it. This is all about the creative adventure. And again, I would never willfully write a sonnet, but I saw a particular image in a house I was visiting, and a phrase came through. And then I noticed that phrase was perfect iambic pentameter, which is the dut, the dut, the dut, the dut, the dut. A lot of Shakespeare is that. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. That's Juliet on the balcony, right? And so it goes like this. An ancient wooden chess set, still intact. Beside the window, sunset on the curtain. A suitcase, oh my God, standing upright, fully packed for voyages beyond all that is certain. Time is the locomotive, space the track, each town a chapter in the hero's tale. The magic hidden in the aching lack impels the quest to find the hidden trail. At last, the hunger and the mystery in swirling tango wander on the floor till miracle is birthed from history and everything familiar is no more. The future makes a move, the past reacts, and possibilities surprise the facts. So, and that just all came easy, it just came out effortless, just got to show up. And so it said everything I wanted to say, and it was perfect iambic pentameter. It's like, where did this come from? I may never write another sonnet in my life. And so that's when you hit that groove, and it all just does itself. And then I forgot I even wrote it for 2 years, and I found, what's this? That ain't bad. So that fusion of order and completeness, with total freedom. It was just no different than writing free verse, except it wanted to be a sonnet, And so to allow yourself, that organized side of you and the genius side of you, to work together. Now, I'll take one more. I want to add one more to that. Everything right now has been about this one thing, what astrology is called Uranus square Saturn. And I don't know how much time we got left for this part, Lydia, but 5 more minutes? Is that...
Yeah, max. Yeah.
Okay, maybe three. Okay.
3?
The other thing that's coming right at the end of the year is Jupiter in Pisces for only about 5 months. Jupiter usually spends a year in the sun, but it's going to be going fast. And that is a great time to let in the inspiration, to let go of the world for a moment, let go of your mind, let go of all the concerns, tap into spirit and say, take me on a trip on your magic swirling ship, and so allow me, give me my assignment, the assignment that comes out of nowhere. Allow yourself to be allowed to have the power just come in and fill you with that beautiful connection. And then much of the rest of the year, except a couple months, Jupiter's going to be in Aries. And that's the spirit of adventure. You know, the spirit of, because see, Aries can be the first sign, but it can also be the 13th sign. You go into spirit, you let go, you receive the assignment, then you come back and you individuate, but you're not running around trying to get satisfied. You're running around beginning the manifestation of the vision you received, the planting, as it were. Just as every year, the last month of winter is about envisioning what you're going to plant traditionally, and Aries is plant it, you know, start, just start. So that's what I see coming. And it was about, God knows, 5 a.m. when this whole idea of what was most important to share came through. I was like fretting in the middle of the night. It's like, okay, what's the best? And I really feel this was the best. So, so I'll finish that and then we'll look at the chart if you like. So just jump right into that, Lydia?
So I'm back. I was trying to manage chats at the same time.
Okay.
Too much for me. Well, thank you, Richard. That was phenomenal as always. And the depth and the richness of everything that you share is so multidimensional and always gives us a deep connection and time to process. I think sometimes we need to process everything that you're sharing. So does anybody, before we go into the personal mini reading, does anybody want to comment on what they were feeling or what came to them? Okay, Michelle, go ahead.
I definitely will, because I know that my body sensations and my emotions like to listen to those. And I put something in the chat, Richard, that was just so powerful. And I can, every time you mentioned something about like this, like speaking with the spirit about a mission to listen to and to follow, I just would well up. And so for me, it's like, there's something I'm not listening to. There's something to tap, really something profound to tap into here. And I usually don't deal with health issues like ever. Really almost never. And all of a sudden, the last couple of months, all of these things have been happening physically that I'm trying to get to the bottom of. And so I'm just making these parallels. And I just want to thank you, thank you. And thank you, Richard, for being so vulnerable as you share, because it just inadvertently opens all our hearts up a little bit too, so we can let in your messages. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we both were starting to cry about things, which is great, because to me, it's a beautiful tear. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful, it's the heart going, this is what matters. Listen to me, feel me, thank you.
Thank you. Certainly on the planet, as we've discussed before, in the midst of all the, the chaos, the light, the power of high frequency, the pillar of light in the planet is getting stronger and stronger. And now is the time to, as Richard was saying in 22, to more than connect with our essence, but to commit to our soul essence and organize it. And part of the commitment that I heard Richard talking about was to book off time to honor the blossoming of our essence, of our soul. And then it can integrate. It's never all or nothing. We don't have to choose one or the other. Sometimes when we're ready to leave something or release it, that's okay. But sometimes people feel held back because they think they have to give away or give up something to gain an aspect of self. And we can integrate it. And that's what growth is. It's, always the analogy of the tree, the strong trunk, and it keeps growing more and more branches. It doesn't have to sacrifice one branch in order to keep growing. But any other responses, comments, questions right after Richard's beautiful sharing while it's fresh in your mind or in your heart?
Hi there. I'll add something. I just you, Michelle. I feel like I got so emotional, and I get this feeling inside of me, Lydia, like it's like a rumbling. I can't explain it. So sometimes I feel that, and Richard, you just bring me back to where I need to be, as does Lydia. Sometimes I feel like my age is against me. Like I feel
Right.
I'm not finished. I feel I have so much more to do. I feel there's something there for me. I feel I've done a lot in life. I'm very proud of myself and proud of my accomplishments and proud of what I've given back in service and to the world and just to everyone who I come in contact with. But I just have this like inkling, like it's not over, and you have a lot more to give. So when I hear you, and I'm so ready to take in anything that's coming my way, and I'm there with open arms. So it's just that sometimes I get into this funk about going, you're just aging, Viv, like just settle down and like don't anticipate. But then I hear your words. And I get this when I speak to Lydia too. And I get
71, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I am 71. Okay.
I beat you. I'm 76.
Good. You look great.
Anyway, and age doesn't matter, right? Because it's all in what's left in here and in our soul. So I just thank you, because I sometimes need that encouragement again. Thank you so much for this. Lydia,
Thank you.
you offered this, and that Richard, you come on and do this for us. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's why I do this, by the way. It's the motive. It's to support. To me, astrology is a form of worship. I'm worshiping you, okay, while still honoring all the goofy human sides, and the dance. I'm loving, in the true sense, the client, and what I'm trying to do is see them, and it's beyond words. There really is a psychic element to it. I stare at the chart until it comes to life. Like an actor with a script. In a sense, I'm playing you when I do a chart. Trying to become you, basically. And believe me, if you think it doesn't scare the hell out of me, how am I going to do this? How do I do this? And each person's new, right? Each person's different. How do I get inside them? How do I represent them? And then the mind can't do it. How do I speak to their whole being? So now, one more thing, then we'll get to the reading now. Okay, I'm hearing it again. This is all about Jupiter and Pisces and how to receive. I'm hearing, speaking of iambic pentameter, 2 lines from T.S. Eliot, a condition of complete simplicity, costing not less than everything. And so you give it all up, but you get it all back. And the word sacrifice means to make sacred in Latin. So you get it all back, but it's made sacred. You get your life back, but it's made sacred. And so the understanding that power's got no limitation. If you got a body, you got an assignment. Okay. And so to know that, and your body is, and your personality are always perfect for the assignment, and that assignment, again, is infinitely generous, has nothing to do with what we think we can or can't do, believe me.
Really
and it gives us
Richard, sorry to interrupt. It's really beautiful what you're saying about illustrating the paradigm shift that we're in, right? And that we're all living in the two worlds. We're releasing old belief systems, we're releasing old imprints that no longer serve us, and then awakening and embracing and grounding and committing to a new paradigm. So we're doing both at the same time. So as Vivian was saying, the old paradigm is that as we age, we have to be limited, and that's completely ridiculous. I've always looked forward to my senior years. From the time I was a teenager, I just couldn't wait to be a senior, and that's wise. We have the wisdom and the experience, and as a soul, we're eternal. We are truly ageless and timeless and limitless in that, and to keep evolving with our passion and our purpose forever. That's what I'm here to do. But okay, so Richard, any closing statements? And then we are going to announce the winner of the mini reading. And it's a real treat to, in addition for Richard to share everything he shared with us today, to see Richard in action doing a mini reading. So anything else, Richard, before you announce the winner?
Yeah, I think the one last line about the T.S. Eliot quote, that all ties in with Jupiter and Pisces, as I said. I think it's about that. And so as we empty out everything, every idea we have, which I have to do this work, as we empty out everything, then and only then we can receive that which is perfect, that, and in that nothingness, which is the fool stepping off the cliff, like, what's going to happen? You don't know, in that nothingness, we become the temple, the receiver of the everythingness. And then the everythingness takes over our personality, and we get to surf that inspiration, and live on a whole other level. And that's what. So I think between now and May, at the end of the month, Jupiter goes into Pisces until May. It's a great time to not worry so much about what you're doing. Focus in what you're feeling and open up to another domain of feeling beyond your personal, emotional, and desire-filled states. Open up to another domain, to an oceanic feeling that has nothing to do with anything in the world of form, though it wants to come to the world of form in the world of time and space among the bulk of actual things. And when you receive that assignment, then to go, okay, I'll commit to that. And commitment is Saturn, freedom is Uranus, commitment is Saturn. And if you can't do both, there's something going to be off. If the commitments are not free, that ain't good. If the freedom's got no commitments, then fine, do that for a while. You're committed to not knowing, fine, go do it. But at some point, you're going to get the assignment, you go, okay, I'm going to do that. Otherwise, you get blown by the winds, So that beautiful connection, that beautiful unity is what we are being offered, especially in this year, as long as we keep honoring both. I want something solid. I want something free.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Richard. That's a beautiful way to summarize that. So it's 11:42. So who's the winner? Who is the winner of our
okay, where are we here? It's Teresa.
Teresa. Teresa's on the phone with us.
My God.
And thank you for everyone else who made their submissions. We really appreciate that. And Richard has a special offers for you to continue on in your personal growth and evolution with some guidance from Richard. So we certainly have everyone covered here today. Okay, so Teresa, are you ready?
I'm
and so
ready.
Richard, it's 11:43. So let's keep it to 10 minutes.
10 minutes then. 10 minutes. All right, and you can cut me off. Let me know. All right.
I don't like to, but I don't want.
All right, let's pull up Teresa. There we are. The reason I chose, or the reason this came, was because it's very interesting, very complex, and allows me to say a lot of things that'll show people how I think and how I work. And so, yeah. And it doesn't even have an exact birth time, but it's enough for me to really do great stuff. And by the way, you don't need an exact birth time to use this service. This is an extremely complex, dynamic, very interesting chart with many layers to it, and very creative and original. Again, I'm not going to say anything too personal, but first thing is that this is a blunt truth teller. This is someone whose mind goes down to the depths. Why am I hearing Leonard Cohen? There was a time when you let me know what was really going on below. And it could, it has many levels to it. Could be a detective, could be a psychologist, could be a whatever. I was once in love with someone with this aspect, Mercury, the communicator, and Pluto, the underworld. And she was never mean, but boy, was she blunt, Oh, okay, I think of one. She said at one point, she said, yeah, I met someone on the train that reminded me of you. Part creativity and part cliche. And I sort of I said, I don't know if I'm laughing or crying. And she said, don't cry. And it was okay, fine. It was a mirror. I'll take it, but there's always that question, what's that Dylan line? If my thought dreams could be seen, they'd probably put my head in the guillotine. How much can you get away with, and how much do you combine it with tact, shall we say? So that's one side that's very important in this chart, a deep, deep mind, and then wants to be fully engaged in this life. The other thing that really stands out is in astrology, there's something called a T-cross. That's planets three, in this case 4, because when 2 planets are together, they kind of operate as one. So we have ordinarily 3 planets at 90, 90, 180 degrees with a missing 4th leg. It's like a drawn bow, right? And so you have to reconcile these four energies want to come together. And believe me, if I had time with you to really, develop it, so you could really feel it all, and as they say, grok, to really get it all in your gut. Because again, when I speak, I'm not speaking to your mind, I'm speaking to your whole being. Okay. And so you feel what I say, not just think what I say. And this chart, this particular arrangement of 4 planets, which I'll take a couple minutes to delineate, is incredibly dynamic, incredibly challenging, has been in your face all your life. Okay. And again, I'm saying, don't believe me, but just check it out, And one element of this is that Mars, the planet of impulse, Uranus, the planet of intuition, in a 90-degree angle. And you know who had something like that? Robin Williams, Jack Kerouac, who reinvented modern literature. And they both were all about improvisation. I mean, Robin Williams was the genius of improvisation. Directors sometimes would just say, you want to deviate from the script, go right ahead. I'll have the camera right there to catch whatever comes through you. And so the mastery, and it's very strong in this chart, the mastery of this energy requires a refined intuition. It makes or breaks it, and you probably fall on your face a lot, especially as a child, learning what to do with this stuff. So what we're trying to do, we have, little kids growing up with this mighty chart, and they're trying to live it out, and they, and still function in the world, So this chart demands a lot of originality, and then Mars is merged with the spiritual planet Neptune. That is also about inspiration and flowing with things, and how do you be both assertive and compassionate, which is what I'm talking about. Because the world can't, what's that great line? Mankind cannot bear much reality. If you're going to deliver reality, especially something that might confront someone's ego, you got to be kind. How do you do it? It's that line, tact is telling someone to go to hell and have them look forward to the trip. How do you operate in this spontaneous impulse that you don't hold it back because it's your assignment to share, but you got to find what is socially viable and how to do it. And then to manage that, you've got this practical, careful, more disciplined Capricorn moon. The moon is your gut and your soul and your belly and your feeling nature. And when you put it in Capricorn, one, usually sometimes the hard way growing up as a child, is taught to be restrained, to be careful. And so this one side wants to be crazy, the other side wants to be careful, what I was talking about, right? And so the ability to master these feeling-based, instinctive, intuitive energies, highly original, highly improvisational, wants to be in the moment, coming out of nowhere, and has to find a way to get away with it. And you have just been through, you're just finishing it up these next few weeks, a couple years where the whole thing was visited by Pluto, all 4 planets, right? And, and a lot of loss, a lot of changes, a lot of having to totally revolutionize your life and how you play, a lot of like, oh my God, what's that? So that you could grow to a whole new level of how to master all these energies. The only other time you had this would have been the early 1980s, and you might want to ponder that. You're a young woman at the time. I won't tell you how young. I won't say how young. And so this whole life is about, I believe your past life would have been a highly intuitive, soul and feeling based person, and this life is about how to make that practical. How to get away with it, how to create practical creations, practical relationships, committed allies, and still get away with being totally original. And I think your wit, which is a part of this chart, is one of the ways you get away with it. Because you can get away with a lot of things with humor that you couldn't get away with otherwise, And so it's a brilliant chart. It's an outrageous chart. And I hope that my telling you this will encourage and support you and allow you to accept yourself. There is real greatness in this chart, and it ain't easy, though it can be easeful, And so, I chose this chart because it's so interesting that it would be interesting to the rest of the audience. Okay, that's what I was looking for, was something that would be interesting to everybody else, right? Anything else that I want to say about this? 2 more minutes, Lydia? What?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this chart works best. the more you keep tapping into inspiration, the more you let go of, because we pick up stuff every day, right? We have reactions, we like, we don't like, we get hurt, we get praised, we gain, we lose. Underneath all of that duality, the coming and the going, the river of bondage to Maya, they call it, out of all that ups and downs, to keep tapping into the thing bigger than you. And don't take it personally, because people, it's still, we learn from other people's reactions, etc. But this is all about being a pioneer, stepping out, knowing that you know what you know, and feeling when you look in the mirror, this is who I am, this is my assignment. They either liked it or didn't like it today. There's always something to learn. But let me stay with that divine love. Let me be an agent of that divine love. And of all the immense and sometimes gut-wrenching transformations you've been through the last few years, going back at least 3, that you're coming to completion of an outrageous transition. It's going to take you years to integrate it, but to look back and go, that wasn't supposed to be easy. It was supposed to be totally disorienting and reorienting and blowing up forms every which way. It's going to take a while to process. It can almost be like a PTSD to process all the deep transformations and realize I've become somebody new. And again, if you wish, ponder like 82-ish, give or take a year, 19, and go, what was that all about? This is the next layer. You won't get another unless you're going unless you're going to be a centenarian, and really integrate all that has happened, almost like being on an acid trip for a couple of years or whatever, to really integrate it all, forgive it all, learn it all, and realize that you're in a brand new world now. And you can play at a whole new level because of all that you learned from all those transformations that took you down to your guts. Okay.
Well, thank you, Richard. That was magnificent. A brief comment from Teresa. You guys can connect after, but did you want to share anything, Teresa, or not? You don't have to.
Well, Richard, you're spot on. You're spot on everything. The underlying information that indeed has been prevailing, as you expressed, is this feeling, excuse me, of the duality of knowing, trusting my intuition, yet at the same time, it's been so difficult because I tend to be blunt and honest. Like, to me, honesty is the most important virtue. And I tend to be too blunt, typical Sagittarius. And then to bring that wisdom and the knowledge, my soul purpose, while being blunt, into the world, has indeed caused me a lot of, I shouldn't say caused me, I experienced a lot of turmoil, especially in the last, like you said, 4 years or so. And I feel like I am coming out of it stronger, more knowledgeable, and now to integrate it and bring all aspects of myself into the world, that is really a huge new way of being, because it's one thing to be honest and forthright, and it's another thing to be spiritual and intuitive and knowing. And the integration of these aspects of ourselves and aligning it and bring it into the world, that is truly a huge lesson for me. So thank you so much, Richard. It is really a blessing to have had this reading. It has helped me a lot, and it's spot on. Thank you.
Great. That's wonderful.
Well, thank you, Richard and Teresa, and everyone here today. Everyone is a beautiful spiritual being, a true conscious leader of their life. And I'm sure we could speak for another few hours about everything that we've touched on today. But the key being integration, of self, that this is the time to recognize all aspects of ourselves and at least get comfortable with them. As we blossom right into our greatest potential that we have ever known on this planet. And as Richard was saying, Taoist, the non-attachment, I often speak about that in my own healing work. We don't need to be attached to old beliefs or the external world we are powerful within ourselves and can shine that light. And there's a place for that and for us. So it's 11:55, and I always honor everybody's time. So what I always mention is anybody that would like to stay after the meditation and long distance Reiki, I'm available. We can all chat depending on, you know, your time and your interest. But we'll start the guided meditation and the long distance Reiki within the minute. And then you're welcome to stay on after if you'd like. But if you have to leave, thank you very much for taking time out today. We honor you, and we're so pleased you're part of our Epona Healing community. Now, Martin is a good friend of ours, a master healer, as many of us are here today. And Martin has many, many gifts, and one of them is communicating, and he's going to share he's going to guide the guided meditation. So let's take a minute to, or a few seconds to take a deep breath and imagine ourselves in a beautiful place, in perfect health in every way. And I'll start to share the infinite river of golden white light, the Reiki energy to everybody, and I'll pass it on to you, Martin.
Great, thank you, Lydia.
Your Reiki section.
Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a mini vacation meditation session. So we're going to go for a little hike. So if we start by slowing down our body and our breath, and close our eyes and feel relaxed in your chair or lying down. Take 3 deep breaths in and out. So breathing in peace and tranquility, and breathing out love. Breathing in peace, slowly through your whole body. And breathing out love to the world. And one more time, breathing in slow and deep from the toes to all the way to the head and back down, washing everything out, all negativity, and letting it all go. So now, in our mind's eye, if you can picture a large, tranquil beach, pure sand, and really warm sun, a blue sky, and the ocean coming towards you, coming in and going out. And there's a lot of peacefulness, and there's look around you. What do you see right to your left? And look around to your right. And there's a bench made of a huge palm tree. And there's a large palm tree sitting near the water, standing near the water. So let's go for a little hike. And how do you feel? Do you feel the wind, the warm wind upon your face, upon your body? Feeling really relaxed. So now let's walk towards the large coconut tree there. And now we're at the base of it. If you can just touch it with your hands and feel it. And now become the tree. Become the height of it. Now you're 100 feet, so 50 feet in the air, and you're looking out to the water. You see the tops of all the trees. You feel the wind. You're totally at peace, and you feel a lot of energy there. Beautiful, peaceful sun, the wind, and the mountains in the background. And you're creaking to the left and to the right. The wind is pushing you slightly. The ebb and flow of the wind and the sun and the warmth and the energy of all the trees. You become one. And everybody is watching and listening and feeling and sensing everything, the smells of the trees and the birds flying around. And we're really having a relaxing time, feeling everything. And just feel that wind is just helping you relax even further, to go back and forth and back and forth. So just be still, and you may see something, you may feel something. So let's come down to the earth again, to the sand. And let's slowly walk towards that bench. Now we're relaxing, sitting, breathing in and out. And feeling and taking in all the sights, the sounds, and the smells of what we're seeing around us, what we're feeling around us. We're becoming one with the universe. Oops. Sorry. So let's come back to our bodies and come back to the present moment, and just breathing in and out normally, and wiggling your hands and your fingers, and slowly come back to the room, the Zoomers, the boomers. And I usually ask if there's any comment or how you felt at the end of this.
Does anyone like to share as we're returning
Sure.
to the trance? I think we're all blissed out, Martin, for a moment.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
I see that.
Thank you, Martin. That was magnificent. That was beautiful. I always love the tree analogies. I love the power and the peace and the connectivity of the trees. So anyone want to share anything with Martin about the meditation? We're just peaceful.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so if you'd like to stay on, and we can I'm available. I don't know if Martin and Richard are available to stay on to chat, but you're welcome to. And if you have to go, I obviously completely understand. And hope everybody has a beautiful holiday season from the inside out, right? That was our
Can I say
time
one quick thing?
to radiate our light. Sorry, Richard?
Can I say one quick thing?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that this entire presentation today was an embodiment of what I'm talking about. I was dead lost in the middle of the night. I'm like, what am I going to share? What's going to have the magic? And then it began to filter through and come through and come through. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I lived the thing I was teaching this morning, and that thing created the teaching.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's what alignment is, right? And that's what being grounded in our spirit and allowing the energy and the wisdom of the soul space to come through and shine, and just surrender to it, as Richard often talks about, and allow that power to be our connection, to be our empowerment. The soul is eternal, so why not access it, right? Like
exactly. So where that bliss, which is timeless, enters the intellect, which plays in time and space, that connection is everything. That's where it all happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. So anybody want to share anything at all? Where I'm available. We can have any kind of chat that you want to discuss, and then we can hang out for a while if you like, and then have a free for all. Anybody? Any comments? Anybody?
I just want to thank Lydia. I want to thank Richard and Martin.
Oh, hi, Charlotte.
Hi, I've been here the whole time.
Yes, I know. Thank you for joining us.
I'm
I didn't know you were
learning about
here.
this stuff. I was interested in Richard when you were doing that private reading.
Yes, ma'am.
What
Can
were
you
you looking
see-
at? Like,
So,
what does
like,
your
yeah.
chart look like? I was curious to see what you were looking at.
Yeah. So the yum planet at yahoo.com is how to reach me. You can ask anything here if you like.
Is that what you were asking, Charlotte, about how to get in contact with Richard?
No, I was just curious what he was looking at. Like,
I
what?
think he was just having divine guidance, like looking into the
Oh,
nothingness.
okay.
Yeah, just channeling. That's what we do when we channel. We just let it come through.
Yeah, we let go of everything except the desire to be an agent of inspiration, basically.
Hmm.
Something to ponder, Charlotte. I like
It
that.
sure is. It sure is.
Yeah, and
Especially when it's so new to you. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's understanding that we've got this infinite resource, that we get caught up with things. And how do I do this for my child? How do I do this for this, that, and the other? And when we don't feel quite adequate, or if we're just hungry for more, we just reach into that place and it pours down its gifts.
Yeah, it's not like a recipe book where you have to follow every single teaspoon and tablespoon of this and that. It's a little bit more eclectic.
Mhm.
Anybody else have anything that they want to share, questions to ask, or anything that came up during the session?
Just wanted to say thank you all, and thank you, Richard and Lydia. So nice to be here. It's my first time being able to join. I'm so glad that I did. And
Thank you, Darcy. Is that your beautiful angel?
this is Esme. So I think you would have seen her. It must have been about a year ago. So she's getting a lot bigger. 2.5.
Esme receives Reiki from Darcy.
Oh yeah, I had beautiful Reiki sessions with Lydia when you were in my tummy.
He's familiar from a previous life and then incarnated in the womb. And then now Darcy channels Reiki to Esme. She's a beam of light, all that beautiful energy coming through her.
It helps when she can't sleep. I give her Reiki and she goes right to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. It's incredible.
That's
I-
Jenny.
I used to put a baby to sleep by patting the bum and the upper back while chanting, 3 times a day when he was young.
Wow.
Yeah. That's yeah, she can go. So
Well, thank you
we
so
gotta
much for
go.
joining us, Darcy. And
Oh,
sharing
thanks for
Esme's
having
life.
us. Gotta get lunch for her, but really nice to see everybody.
Beautiful, beautiful. Have a beautiful holiday season.
Thank you. You too.
Anybody else want to share anything?
Well, if anybody wants to help me split wood, come on up on Monday. We're having a big extravaganza here.
Are
Lots
you?
of trees.
We should have that at the farm. And Martin also offers healing services. Did you want to talk about those, Martin?
Oh, sure. Well, I have a place, let's see, about an hour from the Lake Ontario, I guess north. Yeah, about an hour. And it's a wood lot with a small pond and a straw bale house and a room specifically designed for Reiki. It's a healthy house. It's not a normal place. It's very different. So
It's a beautiful,
yeah, and a lot of energy on the land as well.
yeah, it's a
And
beautiful
it's-
healing space Martin has.
Yeah, inside and out. The land, the trees, the nature, and yeah, it's great. No complaints. People come up and they're my mom said it used to be like going on a vacation. She loved the walk on the driveway, and that was just incredible. And yeah, I live here. I still don't believe it. It took me a while to realize it.
Well, we all manifest things, right? And sometimes it comes sooner, sometimes it comes later. But it's all in divine timing. Divine alignment is divine timing, I always like to say.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was also I have a picture of my grandfather's place,
yes.
and I didn't realize it until I moved up here, built a house, and I looked at it, and I go, hey, that's exactly what I have right now. I have water, I have trees, I have a lake, and a house. Now, I didn't plan that, but it just right in my head, I always wanted to have space, tranquil space, and a house. And I didn't want a square box. And yeah, it manifested itself, and everyone loved working here on the house. They just loved being in the space, and it was really fun.
I
Yeah,
remember.
Lydia came up a while ago.